What's up?
What's happening, guys?
Not too much. You there, Terrence?
Yeah, I am
Check.
definitely here.
Check.
Check 1, 2, 3.
It's
Awesome.
been a while.
It has been a while.
It's been a while.
A month.
You guys
a month
go
and a
away
bit.
for way too long, and how the heck did you get a doctor?
Now we needed a doctor because we're not
Yeah.
we're not well.
Oh,
we're not
shit.
well. We're not well. We needed a doctor on here.
We definitely weren't doing well, but it has been a hiatus, and I'm glad we're back because it's been very busy lately. I think during the time of March and April it was a little bit slow, but then everything just hit all at once. I hope the same's doing. I hope it's the same for everybody else.
Yeah.
It's silly busy out there. to say
How's
the
going?
least.
How's going on those rooftops? It's getting warm out.
Yeah, it's starting to get warm, but not as hot as the mechanical room I was in today for a indoor pool unit.
Smelled great, like chlorine.
A little bit, not overly. It's more the temperature that's going to get you because on initial startup, outside it was around mid 70s today. Yes, I'm talking Fahrenheit and I'm Canadian. Just to screw with people.
So do I.
But in the mechanical room, it was about 95.
Crazy.
Sounds
95 with relative humidity of. We started at a relative humidity level of about 79% RH. So we hadn't got the pool dehumidifier up and going. So once that was up and going, we started knocking down the humidity in the space and some of the temperature.
Now that you brought up Fahrenheit Celsius, though, I mean, we've discussed this, me and Terrence, because I live in.
Hold on. Before we go into this,
okay,
let's do a quick intro. So thank you everybody for coming on to season 2, episode 2, and today we are with our doctor, the HVAC doctor, Matt Waxer. And before we get into the questions, Adam, complete your Fahrenheit and Celsius because I'm sure everybody wants to know about that.
Well, I mean, Matt, you're from Southern Ontario like me. Have you always been someone who speaks in Fahrenheit, or did you grow up with Celsius? Because me and Terrence had this conversation. I'm a border city kid. I was always Fahrenheit. My house is Fahrenheit. Everything's Fahrenheit.
So I grew up just north of Toronto.
Yeah.
And I grew up using Celsius.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So, and pretty much all through my academic career and beginnings of trade careers, because I didn't always work in HVAC, everything was Celsius. Get into HVAC and refrigeration, all the training is in Fahrenheit for us. So you got to know both.
Yeah.
All
my work. Sorry, go ahead, Terrence.
I feel you. All the training's always been Fahrenheit for us too, but like I've grown up looking at a thermostat that says Celsius all the time.
Yeah, we got to be conversant in both.
And it confuses the shit out of me.
Plumbers,
But all I need to know is 20 degrees Celsius is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. That's all I needed to know because that's my room temperature.
What did Crave say? Imperial system is for police.
For plebs.
I don't even know what that means.
I love that guy. I want to go to Australia to see him.
I just want to drink out of the toilet with him.
The reverse swirl toilet.
Yeah,
that's what they say. But going into the real thing of what we're trying to ask today is, Matt, how did you get the name HVAC doctor? I'm sure some people would like to know. Yeah.
So for those that haven't come across my social media on Instagram and Facebook, I think also on TikTok, although not overly on that platform. I'm known as the HVAC doctor. So all parts of that are actually true. So the HVAC side of it is I'm a licensed 313A refrigeration air conditioning system mechanic. I also have a gas fitter 1 ticket, which the equivalent in BC is, I think it's the A class ticket. It allows you to work on any BTU input into an appliance. And the doctor part, it's not that I've got this weird, crazy infatuation with being a medical doctor, or, that I work on HVAC and I fix it and think that I'm a doctor because I can do that. I have a PhD in psychology, specialized in developmental cognitive neuroscience. So all aspects of the term the HVAC doctor, the handle the HVAC doctor, are actually true. I HVAC and I'm a PhD doctor as well.
That's crazy. I did not know that. I didn't know that.
I thought you knew that.
I didn't know that. I really didn't. I just thought he was incredibly smart at HVAC and he's a doctor and diagnoses the shit out of complicated systems.
Sounds like you're getting schooled today then.
I am. I'm going to learn a lot about Mac today. I swear.
We taught Adam a little thing today. Yeah, I actually have a PhD in psychology, not clinical. So I don't want to hear about, all the issues that you have, despite the therapy sessions that we've already had. It will be coming soon, brother.
Yeah.
But to break into that, what can you tell me about Adam right now, psychologically?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, this is going to get, I don't know if we have time to go into that.
He's a very complicated individual, actually. I'm still trying to read him myself.
A lot of people have a lot of opinions of me. It's fantastic.
Well, a lot of it is just hidden behind that sexy beard of his, right?
Yeah, it hides the youth in him.
You got quite a beautiful one too. I'm not gonna lie. I can get in the grays. I'm catching up to you, I think.
Yeah, all that's going gray, and it's starting to come in the sides as well. So
sophistication. That's all it is. You know what I mean?
Sophistication. Apparently, everything also looks bigger against a white backdrop. So this giant melon of mine's gonna look friggin' huge.
So I got the next question for those that don't know. You're an HVAC guy, but at the same time, you're not really working in a company where it's like us, where we do service and all these other things and repairs. You're more on the side of the manufacturer sales rep side, correct?
Yeah. So when I started in the HVAC career, I was working as a service and install technician. I haven't really done any real residential work. It's all been industrial commercial. And where I am currently, to skip many years ahead, is I work for an equipment rep firm that they started up a service and warranty repair division. So my job is I'm a commissioning technician, a startup tech. So a company will install the equipment. Adam will laugh about the install.
I'm sorry.
And then the comments. I come in after the fact and I make sure that piece of equipment gets started up properly and works.
It's so hard because we ask serious questions and I take you very seriously. And then I look down at the comments and Crave goes, if you're a doctor, can you tell me why my third testicle hasn't descended yet? So I don't know if you can.
Yes, it's because you're a little bitch. Is that a good enough answer?
It's because he's a plumber and not an HVAC guy, right?
So if you didn't know, he works at Kilmer Environmental, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically, you do a lot of Aeon startups.
Yeah. So the brands so Kilmer Environmental is an equipment rep firm, kind of more boutique style for higher end equipment. So Aeon is a brand of air handling equipment that makes semi-custom air handlers. So a lot of rooftop equipment that is in the market up on the upper echelon of products comparable to like Engineered Air, which is a fully custom unit, or Daikin, or some higher end train units. That's the kind of similar ballpark that Aeon plays in and does a really, really good job with a lot of features within their units. And they're fun to play with. They're technically challenging to work on.
So how did you get into that? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
I'm very curious. Like, how did you get from being an HVAC tech all of a sudden to get into the role of manufacturer sales rep? Because I like, we talked about this before, right, Adam? Like I used to be a manufacturer sales rep as well. I did like HTP, I sold valves, I sold boilers, everything that had to do with the mechanical side. But, for me, I kind of felt like that was a different end for me. I almost became a salesman. But then for you, like, how did you get into that all of a sudden?
Yeah. So the previous company I worked for, well, let's backtrack just a second. So Kilmer Environmental is the equipment rep firm that sells the equipment. I work for Kilmer HVAC Service. So Kilmer Environmental is our parent company. And Kilmer HVAC Service, we start up the equipment that Environmental sells and do warranty repairs on it. Not only Aon, but a few other equipment lines as well. And prior to Kilmer HVAC Service starting, which Kilmer HVAC Service is only about 4.5, 5 years old, Kilmer Environmental has been around for over 36 years, going close to 40 years. And they subcontracted out their startups to companies that had technicians that were familiar with their product lines. So the company I worked for before joining Kilmer HVAC, my supervisor, who now works alongside with me as a fellow technician, he was very familiar with the Aon product line because the company he worked for before Kilmer acquired the line, he worked on that product, starting it up. So he taught me how to start up Aon units and give all the hearts to Adam.
I do sit when I pee. I do sit when I pee. I'm not gonna lie. I've worked on enough toilets to know the splatter is just a mess.
I had to do that. That's too funny.
So
that's an amazing journey.
So what happened at the company I was at was I was doing subcontracted startups for Kilmer, and there were certain promises made at the company I worked at previously. I was supposed to become the service manager, and my service manager at the time would go over to the design build construction side, and we'd work together to bridge the gap between the two departments. Well, there was decisions made by other people on the management team at that company. They hired someone else without ever coming to me and saying, "Hey, Matt, we're going to go in a different direction. We still need you in the field. We're going to hire this guy and gradually work you into that position." So they never came to me to say, "Hey, we're going to go a different route." And the day that they hired on the new guy, they went to my manager at the time and said, "Hey, we're going this way. How do you think Matt's going to take it?" Well, out of just proper business etiquette, morals, and practices, I basically said, "You know what? Had you brought me in and talked to me about this, we'd be in a different predicament. However, given that I was promised this position by the owner of the company, and now other people have decided to go a different route, I'm going to take my business elsewhere." I served my 2 weeks notice, said, "Thank you for everything that you've done. However, business being business, I found a much better position where I am right now and couldn't be happier where I'm working."
That's great. It's crazy. Not a lot of people would have the balls to be able to just jump up and do that. But we need to. We have to understand that the value of what we give. You know what I mean?
100%. It's, we are in a shortage for skilled trades workers. And if you're not being treated properly by the company you're working for, if you are working for a company and not owning a company like Terrence or running a division of a company like you, Adam, then even in your position, Adam, if you weren't treated right by the ownership management team of Aurelia Group, you might say, "You know what? I appreciate everything you've done for me and what we've worked to build. However, given what's gone on, I'm going to take my talent and skills to another company or start my own."
Oh, 100%. 100%. For sure. Leaning over, you started posting on Instagram when? How long ago did you start on Instagram? How many years has it been?
Gosh, I think probably at least 7.
Great. Well, so what inspired you to become the HVAC doctor and start sharing your experiences online with everybody else?
Yeah. So initially, it wasn't the page I started wasn't called the HVAC Doctor.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
now we got some stories.
Yep. Well, way back in the day when I initially started my Instagram page, I'm a bit of a wrestling mark, like pro wrestling mark. So I initially named the page HVAC for life, a play on WCW, NWO. You know, if you're NWO, you're NWO for life.
How far back was it? This far back?
Further back than that, believe it or not. It was that shaved guy.
Look at that. Look at that clean baby face of yours.
Oof, that guy's way too young.
You get your glasses inspiration from Rodney or what's his name? Oh, I messed that one up.
Totally missed that one, Adam.
Yeah. Dennis Rodman.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it took me a while. I scrolled through a lot to get to here. What is that? July? Actually, it's not that. I scrolled through about 4 years to get to this picture at least.
Yep.
I think there's a bit
back
deeper.
even further. Yep.
Goes back even further, and then you had some photos of your family, your dogs, maybe something to do with Darth Vader at one point. I think there was one of them.
That might have been related to like Vader the plumber. Vader's a great guy.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know, Vader, stand-up guy. Got nothing but respect for
stand up for sure.
I've shared a hotel room with him. He's great. He just needs to stop having babies.
Yeah.
The guy has like 6 kids, man. It's crazy.
Does he actually have 6 kids? I didn't even know that.
He has 4. He has 4, but still, it's crazy.
But that picture, that was actually from the last company I worked for. So that's probably going back now at least
4 years.
Is that only 4?
That was July 2020.
Okay. So that would have been just prior to me leaving that company. I was inside of it. That looked like I was inside of a Lennox unit repairing something, probably a leak.
I love how you can pin that out. 4 years ago, I remember that one. It was a Lennox unit.
You have that picture to pull up yet again there, Terrence?
Oh, yeah, of course I do. I was going to pull up a picture of Bacon for PS the Plumber here.
Actually, no, that isn't. I don't think that is a Lennox unit. I may have to go back and take a look. It's possible that it is. I have to double check the geotag in my pictures, and then it would refresh the old not so clear memory on where I was.
What?
I got bacon. I got bacon for him instead.
What?
Oh,
what's he talking about? Any photos of not real bacon? Is that an inside joke that I don't know about?
I have no clue. But there's a quick question about union versus non-union. Actually, great question. I'm curious on what your thoughts are. I mean, you've been on the field, and now you're also in the manufacturer commission.
I have never worked part of a union in the trades.
Yeah.
So in terms of my refrigeration career, I have never worked at a company where I was part of Local 787, is the refrigeration union here in Ontario. I've always worked for non-union companies, and there's pros and cons with both.
Yeah.
A lot of people tout, the awesome benefits and other things that come with working union. There's a good old Aon unit.
Yeah.
But for me, it's never been an issue working non-union. I've always negotiated comparable comparable compensation packages, if not better than what the union offers.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you're savvy enough to know what you're worth in the field, it really doesn't matter one way or another.
Personally, I was union most of my career as an apprentice, and my personal beliefs is it's great for apprentices because of the free training that they give out. But I mean, if you're not the kind of person that wants to be held down and you want to like expand out, as soon as you get all that training and you get licensed, get the hell out of there and just go start your own business or run a division. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's pros and cons of both for sure. It just depends on who you're working for. Right?
It depends on who you're working for, and also depends on what you're looking to get out of what you're doing in the industry.
Yeah.
So, I know a lot of friends I have in the United States, a lot of them are very pro-union. The structure between union and non-union in the United States is a lot different than up here in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, here it's a little. We're fairly similar here. Over there, it's very like there's this line in the sand for sure. I think.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's another question. I want to go something along that question, but I had a couple of people ask me lately if they're going into trades. You know, what's a trade that I would recommend them? And I've been recommending plumbing or HVAC. But you know, what's special about HVAC? Do you think that would be something captivating for somebody to join? Because you know, the picture we have here, that's fucking complicated.
Yeah,
Not really.
That confuses the hell out of me. Sometimes,
You know?
Matt. Sometimes you send me DMs and you're like, "Yeah, I worked on this today," and I'm like,
because
okay.
you know, I'm sure if I sat there for maybe 5 or 6 hours, I would figure something out. But that looks like many hours of really getting to know and be comfortable to work on that.
Yeah. So let me put it this way to everybody listening and to you guys. So the image we have here is of a heating section and control cabinet of an Aeon rooftop unit. And the very first time I ever opened up one of these units, I had the experience of what the shit did I just open and am I looking at? Because they're not your typical rooftop unit. So my academic training background is okay, let's start breaking things down into small manageable parts and identify what I know. So, in this picture here, in the what's my upper left, we have the main controllers. So those are going to tell the unit what to do. Going towards the right to where the HVAC doctor logo is, you have a whole bunch of fuses, contactors, and relays. Those are going to, let power go through them or, turn on and off power to different components. In the lower section, we have a couple of VFDs. VFDs, variable frequency drives, are going to speed up or slow down motors. And then we have the heating section. Well, that's going to either turn on and provide heating or it's going to not run. Those are modulating valves, so they're going to, give either more heat or less heat. And once you start breaking it down into more simplistic components, it becomes a lot less intimidating in my mind.
Right. It's just like the way you do schooling, right? Break it down to all the parts and then piece them together.
Yeah.
That you really know more about each one before you get to the other. Because if you look at it all at once, just like Adam and I are talking about,
you get overloaded and you're like, what the shit am I looking at and how the hell does that work?
Yeah, it's like the first time I walked into a boiler room and I looked at it and I was like, what the fuck? And then I remember my journeyman, and I always remember this, and I say it to my apprentices as well, it's water going through pipes.
Yep.
That's it. That's all it is. Truthfully, it's water going through pipes. You know what I mean? And like there's closed loop systems and there's all kinds of different systems, and you have to understand the components and how they operate so that the water can go through smoothly.
Yeah. Like ultimately at the end of the day, that confusing, control cabinet, all it does is move BTUs.
Yeah.
Either going to add heat or remove heat.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. Boil it down to very simplistic terms, and things that look overly complex and hard become very easy.
Yeah. PS plumber, same with commercial pumps, panels. It looks worse at first. It's true. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, do you enjoy the electrical part and the controls part of HVAC more than you do other things? Like, is that your favorite part?
I enjoy it all.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of a similar personality to, we were talking about a guy before we came on here, Brett Wetzel.
Yeah.
So Brett, when we were in the Tactical Awards in Chicago, Brett was nominated and won the Mentor of the Year award. And Brett is you think if I know some things about HVAC and that I'm air quotes smart, no. Brett's friggin' Einstein in HVAC. Wicked smart guy. I've got absolutely nothing but respect for him.
Yeah.
And he operates in a different area of HVAC than I do. He predominantly works in CO2 refrigeration and training people in that. but I forget where I was going with this already.
Well, shout out to Brett Wetzel.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking?
What are you drinking? I think you're drinking a little bit too much of that.
Yeah.
You're drinking too much Pabst Blue Ribbon there. No, I was having
Adam's sponsored by Pabst now,
apparently. I was drinking just a couple of fingers in a good old GE Aaron water glass from our good friend Mark Tama. Just a couple fingers of Basil Hayden bourbon, just to take the edge off the day.
I don't know about you guys in HVAC, good guys in the hard liquor, because you and Jay love your hard liquor. You guys just sip on it.
Yep.
Not me.
We need something that has flavor, and most people go, "What the hell is that crap?"
Yeah. Need Adam to light up another blunt.
It's like some people with Guinness. Like Guinness is an acquired taste.
Oh, Guinness is delicious.
I like Guinness. I mean, I don't drink a lot, but I like Guinness.
Yeah.
I like the darkness. I'm a dark kind of person.
So going into like you working in the field, what is one of the most difficult in HVAC repairs you've ever done? Can you remember?
One recent one we had was we had multiple pinhole leaks on a distributor for a pool dehumidifier that a few mechanics had attempted to repair before we had gotten there. And really, at the point that we had arrived, it was rip out all components. We ended up having to take out the entire evaporator section, and just the sheer scope of having to move a unit out of the way to put in a new evaporator in an extremely tight environment was not that much fun. It was very physically challenging and demanding to make that repair.
Jesus.
And
that does sound challenging. I wouldn't want to do it.
No, I wouldn't.
It wasn't fun. The repair I had to do, I didn't do it today. I was ready to go do it, but the installing contractor that was there with me, when we found the leak on the system we were working on today, it was where the leak was in a spot. If here's the pipe work, there's a braze joint where my wrist is, the pinhole leak is on the back here. Yeah. And it was extremely tight to get torches in there to actually make that repair.
Make some repairs. I used to actually do repairs on systems and braze them for school boards, and it's not fun, especially when you got like 17 leaks and they want you to tap them all closed and braze them all. I was like a second-year apprentice crawling inside these units. It's crazy, but I couldn't even imagine on a rooftop.
We have a question for the HVAC side. Like, when do you decide to just replace instead of repair?
Yeah.
What are your guidelines to that?
It depends on the nature of the repair required and what's defective. So there's a lot of general rules of thumb that are going on in terms of what will guide you in terms of how the proper course of repair will be required. So there isn't a hard and fast one answer for, whether you decide to replace a component or attempt to repair it. For certain things like different electrical components like contactors, capacitors, relays, if those have failed, well, you're going to replace those. Those are very small commodity items for the most part. When you get into things like leaks on braze joints, depending where they are, you're going to attempt to repair, or you're going to have to remove components to the point where you can actually replace those components and then make the repair to where that leak is within the system. I hope that kind of goes towards it. Yeah,
that's good information, but you look like a guy that reads a lot of books.
I don't know what's the hint of that.
You look like a guy that reads a lot of books.
You definitely look like a guy who reads a lot of books. And I'm curious.
I buy a lot of books for the illusion
Right.
Do I look like
Right.
someone that reads a lot of books?
No, you look like you read a lot of fishes. Or read a lot of fish, sorry.
That's just for sushi later.
But, behind you, somebody does want to learn about HVAC or anything kind of on the lines of HVAC. Do you have a book there that you would pull out and say, read this?
Just learning about regular HVAC. There's a lot of really good introductory textbooks.
Is there anyone behind you though, or is that
behind
all,
me?
Yeah, one of those
upstairs. Behind me, that's all my wife's stuff for school. So my wife's an elementary school teacher.
Oh,
so those are my kind of books. Those are my kind of books.
So that's Adam's level.
This is Adam's
level.
Yeah, this is like C dot run. Run dot run.
Those are my kind of books right there. You know what I mean?
For the big red dog.
Yeah. My stuff is kind of more over in that bookshelf over there. In terms of introductory books for HVAC, Eugene Sillenberg, who we saw at the Tactical Awards win the Lifetime Achievement Award, and we also saw he showed up at Centrotherm event as well. Mm-hmm. Vader and I had a great breakfast with him. He's got a number of really phenomenal textbooks for just covering the wide gamut of HVAC. For things more specialized, like if you wanted a really good textbook about mini split systems, which I really don't work on anymore, Craig Migliaccio has a phenomenal book written for technicians in terms that your general technician can grasp and really grab onto and understand how to work on and service mini split systems. Craig is a phenomenal teacher, phenomenal mentor, and similar to like Ty Brenneman, who I can't remember what Ty won this year, influencer of the year.
Have you ever met these guys?
Yeah.
Are you not listening?
I am listening.
So Craig and I first met at Tactical in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We met in the lineup to go do a little interview with Ash, who used to be with Globalosaurus, who's now with Refridge Technologies. Mm-hmm. So we were shooting the shit before going up to do our little interview. There was a very verbose, long bearded gentleman that all of us know, but we don't talk about anymore, who was making a scene about taking over HVAC and stuff. I don't know. You can go bond yourself later about it.
Yeah, if you have any questions of all the books he's talking about or the people that he talked about, message him. The doctor is always ready to help. Just don't go to him with your problems.
Come to me with your HVAC issues.
Yeah,
I'll attempt to help.
It's not your psychological problems because
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah. I'm still looking for that $10K payment back to deal with all those things, but we'll take that offline later.
As for tools, like you obviously have probably an abundance of tools. So what is a tool that you can't live without?
Gosh, Vito bags.
Really?
Jeez. Are you paid to say this right now, or what's the deal?
Have you ever tried a velocity bag?
Have you tried a velocity?
Oh,
have you tried a DeWalt bag?
Yeah. Have you tried a Milwaukee pack-out bag?
Now we've become just a complete advertisement. Today's podcast sponsored by
everyone.
Sponsor here. Yeah. In terms of tools, I really need out in the field. Multimeter. So I've always used Fluke multimeters.
Yeah.
A laptop. So our company, the company I work for, has provided me with Tough Books.
Yeah.
It is sponsored by Impetus Media.
Sponsored by Impetus Media.
But we have to negotiate. Adam and I have to negotiate our fee for being on here with our agent later.
We do. But there's cost for everything. Using this new program, there's a cost to that.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that the programs that are used to run podcasts
actually
cost money.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of people, you guys are using the platform that you use to put your content out on. Other people use something like other people use, StreamYard or, whatever. And those all cost money for people to actually enjoy the content that's being put out.
I quite like this one because we could stream on. We're streaming on LinkedIn. We're streaming on Facebook. We're streaming on YouTube, and we're streaming on Instagram live all together at once. And we can throw a bunch of shit while we're talking, and even have the screen share of like anything that we want to. So any kind of books that you said earlier, I couldn't get the last name, so I couldn't even pull it up, to be honest. But,
and anybody that's in the audience listening, if you want to cover the expense of having Strictly Talking shit come across your podcast platforms, I'm sure Adam and Terrence will gladly accept Patreon or other donations to cover the expense of running their podcast platform.
Are you on OnlyFans?
I have my own OnlyFans. If anybody, Gordon bought feet.
I don't know. I do have a couple of OnlyFans posts on my social media content, but it is literally only a fan.
Only a fan. That's what we're saying. I don't know. We weren't going to.
I don't know what you're talking about, Adam. Like,
geez, why did you go to feet? We don't have feet in fans.
Feet
only man's. Only man, says Kenji.
Only man's.
So, aside from the most difficult or easiest job, what was one that really made an impression on you? Like, what's something that was one of the coolest jobs that you have that you can talk about? Because we have a lot of conversations before that you are under certain agreements not to talk about certain jobs. But other than that, what's something that you can talk about that is super cool that you can share with the audience?
So there's, like you were saying, there's a lot of sites that I have to sign NDAs. I can produce content on those sites sometimes, so long as there isn't really any identifiable landmarks or, things that can set off an audience to know, oh, well, Matt was working in this location on this equipment. Or I explicitly say, this equipment is in X and X location, so on and so forth. Like cool things that, I've enjoyed are controls retrofit upgrades. So, for example, one that on Aon units, they have a program called Extend. And for packaged rooftop units, if the controls fail on them, a lot of manufacturers don't have a controls upgrade or a retrofit for the unit. So you're ending up replacing the unit. So if a Carrier unit fails or a Lennox unit or a York unit fails, a lot of the times maybe you can get a control board, but maybe they don't make that control board for that unit anymore. So now you got to get a new unit. Well, Aon has a program where, given the serial number of the unit, they have a team that will come up with a controls upgrade package to current control standards to extend the life of that unit. So they tout that their unit will last, their rooftop unit is a 25 to 30 year rooftop unit. Most manufacturers' rooftop units are at most 10 to 15 years old that they'll last. And they're going to be running like crap by the time they get to that point, if they make it.
Yeah.
So putting their money where their mouth is, Aon's developed this program where, if your controls are no longer made by them and they're obsolete and they fail, well, you can upgrade your controls to current control standards, have someone like myself come in and do a controls upgrade and make sure that that equipment continues to run and that end user gets their total ROI on that equipment. They get their total investment out of that piece of equipment. It continues to run optimally and properly for them. So like this week, I was doing one out in a location east of me on a casino, and I sent a few pictures to Adam of it after, and some of the fun things I had go on with it, and I had to rip out a control system that I'd never seen before, and integrating that into the new one presented some interesting challenges. And the air handler itself had some unique things to it where some of the new control boards required custom software installed on them that hadn't been installed. So getting a hold of the manufacturer to get the proper software sent out to me to actually make this run was that little added cherry on top of, oh, I just learned something new today.
Yeah.
And B, if I ever encounter that moving forward, I'll know where to go, what to do moving forward.
Piggybacking off of that, though, how many days a week do you learn something new now? Like, you've been in this for quite a long time. Do you learn something new every week, every other day? Are you still learning? Like, are you still seeing the same thing over and over again?
Yes, and yes. Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Whether it's on what you work on a daily or not. That's going to set, I don't care what area of the skilled trades you're in, learn something new every day. Pick up a manual, read it, or if you're come in front of new equipment that you're not overly familiar with and there's stuff in it, you don't know what it does, pick a few of those components and learn about them that day. Go home and read about it.
Yeah.
Our day doesn't stop when we go home.
Invest in yourself.
It's a good tip. I mean, that's what I've been telling my guys all the time. Like, a lot of people like to think that they can always lean on their journeyman or somebody senior or above them, but the work ethic that should be practiced today should be over preparing yourself all the time and actually reading and going above and beyond to find your own answers. Because when you find those answers yourself, it becomes part of your memory a lot better.
Well, you take pride in it a little bit more, and it's like ingrained because you had to do the hard work to figure it out.
You know what I mean? Shows when you do hit that brick wall, regardless of if you're an apprentice or a journey person, you hit that brick wall, you've exhausted your knowledge and you need help. You can then demonstrate to whomever you're reaching out to, whether it's tech support, a fellow journeyman, or even an apprentice who's worked on something that you haven't worked on. If you're the journeyman or journeywoman, you can reach out to them and say, hey, I've done X, Y, and Z. I know X, Y, and Z. What am I missing? What do I need to get over this hurdle?
Yeah.
It shows that you're not just reaching out saying, I showed up, tell me what to do.
Yeah.
You've shown that you've invested in trying to learn about something and you've hit that wall. You've now got to the point where you're like, I need help.
Yeah.
Who can I reach out to get help?
Yeah. And that's what the great thing about social media too, is like, if you don't have people here, that we've connected with so many people that, like, if I have an HVAC problem, I can reach out to you and you're going to tell me what's wrong with it. You know what I mean?
Or I'll find the person who, has the answer for it. I don't have all the answers.
No, of course.
To steal Gary's, social media platform name.
Yeah.
Nobody can be an HVAC know-it-all.
Yeah.
Just like in plumbing, no one can know it all in plumbing. You can be a master plumber, but you
can have 30 years experience. No, but apparently people with 30 years experience knows everything.
Yeah.
Industries are ever evolving and ever changing. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many years you have.
Yeah.
So long as you're continuing to learn.
Every day.
Because social media is so good, though, and the people that you've met here and spoken to, what was one thing that you've actually learned on social media yourself that you actually brought back to the field?
That's a great question.
We like doing the ones where we make you think.
Shit, I like the smoke coming out of these earbuds. Gosh, what is a good one that came out of something I've seen on social?
That you can rinse your glass with a glass rinser?
That I need my agent to send me one of those so I can install it.
Oh, we'll find one for you.
There we go. Because believe it or not, before I was the HVAC doctor, I cut my teeth being a plumber.
Have you ever done a drain call? Have you ever unclogged a main drain?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
No way.
The satisfaction.
When I started within full time in the skilled trades, initially my uncle is a master carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
So from age 12 through my academic career, I was doing carpentry. And when I was wrapping up my PhD, realizing that that wasn't the career path for me, I went back into doing carpentry full time for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Then I bounced into doing hydraulic cement. And then I got into a mechanical company in my hometown here that serviced Petro-Canada. They specialized in car wash plumbing and heating. So when I initially joined that company, I was going to be a plumber. So the HVAC doctor handle may not have ever existed. It might have been Professor Plum. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that I started in HVAC. I started
There
in
we go.
HVAC for 3 months.
We did the swapsy tradesy. Yeah.
And I was doing residential finish, and they had me putting floor registers and wall registers in for like 3 months. And every time I was like, come on, I want to try and braze that unit, or I want to try and do this. And they wouldn't let me try it. And I was just really frustrated on not doing it, that I was like, I got offered to join the union and do plumbing. And I was like, okay, now I can actually do stuff and put pipe up. And that's what made me change over to plumbing. Because I like HVAC. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a plumber that kind of plays in both kind of fields in the gray area, but like, I don't know. I couldn't stand standing along putting wall registers and floor registers in. I wanted to kill myself.
I think for every trade, it's just the amount of time you put in it and the attention and how attentive you are to want to learn that trade. Because, you know, for us, we've been doing plumbing, heating for a long time. But we haven't done the HVAC side where we did refrigeration. It's just during this year, we know that the shift has gone to the electrical side, that we have finally put in more resources to do the schooling for it, to do the training for it. And we've even started getting our own HVAC guy and installing it with him to get our, you know, outdoor units working, to get our mini splits working, and to start on heat pump projects.
And to answer Jay's question, I just couldn't cut it as a plumber. I have to admit it here on Strictly Talking Shit. I just couldn't cut it as a plumber.
At least we have one honest HVAC guy.
So I had to fall back on the king of the trades and do a little bit of all of it.
I mean, we have our own
doctor.
We have our own throne. You know, the plumbers are the king of the trades because we have our own throne.
There you go.
It's porcelain, but it's our own throne. What's up, Chris? Chris just came in. He's from DeWalt. Fantastic guy. Did you meet him at CMPX?
Unfortunately, no, I didn't. When the whole thing with the DeWalt dinner, actually, I didn't make it to the DeWalt booth, unfortunately.
Oh, they have some fantastic stuff coming out, man. It's crazy. Their press tool is actually really nice. I like it a lot.
It is. Yeah. I've actually liked using it quite a bit. It's just a little bit bigger, but it wasn't bad.
Just don't use that press tool on any refrigeration fittings.
Today's podcast is sponsored by DeWalt.
DeWalt with the question mark.
Hey, Chris, we're right here. I still have your light. I still have your light, by the way, Terrence.
You have my light too. I actually want that. I think I will be going back out that way sometime even before September.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. But for September, we will have another HVAC show, and we're working on getting some HVAC in there this year. Hopefully, we can.
Might be the hydronic build.
Yeah, but then HVAC? We'll see if we can get actually like some refrigeration stuff in there.
Yep.
Maybe not, because I'm working on another big project for AHR where we're actually doing that as well. And
you dropping that right now? You dropping that? You
dropping
I'm
dropping that. I'm dropping that. I'm dropping that.
Some hints.
And that's why we've been a little bit away from the keyboard, because
there's a lot of background work that has to go into that.
Yeah, a lot of background work. I hope we get paid for that one.
I don't know if HVAC R&D cannot get sponsored by Modelo. I don't know how Adam's venture is going to go with Pabst Blue Ribbon.
I might have an in.
Oh, there you go.
We're working on all that stuff.
That'd be fantastic. Don't you think? Don't you think Pabst Blue Ribbon or a beer company should sponsor some tradespeople? Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And who better than me?
Brandon? Sponsored by Jobber.
We get Niagara Escarpment Laboratories and maybe Nickelbrook and Sawdust City on board.
So hold up. You had enough time to think. So what have you learned on Instagram?
Yeah.
I've learned that there's a bunch of amazing, like-minded tradespeople. And you don't have to stick within your trade to have those conversations. So, like, for example, today, I'm an HVAC guy, and we got a couple plumbers. And, I've had the, privilege to meet both of you in person. I'm still a little bitter about that no handshake bullshit that happened at Centrotherm, Adam.
What?
So,
what do you mean?
Uh-oh.
When you and I were doing Family Feud, you mother effer.
No handshake. Oh, and I didn't shake your hand when we were coming down off the podium?
No, when we were going up to the podium.
Oh, and I was like...
like, screw you, Matt. Like, all right, I see how this is going.
No. We had fun. We had fun at Centrotherm. We did. And I almost missed my flight.
Yep. You were a little rougher for wear getting to the airport. And
yeah.
But you made it.
Good times.
Yeah, we have really good times. This year we've seen each other quite a bit, actually. Quite a bit.
Between Chicago, Miami, Toronto for CMPX.
Yeah, man. We've been around quite a bit. Yeah, it's been a
We'll see if next year's the same. Yeah, it has been a fun year and it's been a hard-working year. I mean, as much as it's fun, at the same time it's really busy because we talk about it all the time. It's hard for us to, or even for me to, run almost like 3 things at once and then come back at the end of the day and think about this whole influencer thing or content creator thing that people think, is my only job and I don't do fuck all. Right? Because if you ever try to do 3 things at once, like run a full plumbing business, deal with manage projects at the same time, do the social media side, manage campaigns, propose, and then still post your own content. And at the same time, you have to deal with your family things, your dog, all that crap. It really adds up.
You don't have kids yet.
I know, that's exactly it. As soon as I have kids, I think I'm gonna die.
Yeah. You have to cut one off. Sell the HVAC and plumbing business too.
I might have a 3rd testicle, just like how Craig was talking about.
Just sit there waiting for it to descend, though.
PS is coming to Toronto in a few weeks. That's a horrible idea, Chris.
What are you doing down in Toronto, Chris?
He's got a hockey tournament with his son.
Right, he was talking about that.
Don't let Adam on the ice with you. I mean, some headbutts might start flying, according to rumor and stories.
You heard about that, didn't you?
That might have been an airport conversation when we were going to Miami.
Yeah, we got that tournament in October, actually. I might actually play tonight. It's only 8:30, and there's an open ice at 10:15. So
we'll see. The night is young. The sun's still out for us right now. It's amazing.
Yeah, the sun's still out for us too.
Yeah, it actually is. Sorry, I'm basement dwelling, so I had to actually go peek at a window.
Hey, so we are coming closer to the end of our podcast, but always before we end, we love to ask random ass questions.
All right, I'll have some random ass answers.
We'll see if you can get these down.
Oh.
So my first question to you.
72, 83.
That's too fast. I didn't ask for fast math. That's what we do. So if you could be any fruit, what would you be?
Any fruit? Dragon fruit.
Ooh, why?
You're putting him on the spot. It's supposed to be like 1-word answer. What kind of fruit would you be? Why?
Hey, I told him it's good. It's a fun question. It could be anything.
I'm gonna be a kumquat just because of the name of the fruit.
Okay, if you could have dinner with a fictional character, who would it be?
Sherlock Holmes. Actually, is he fictional? Because he's also my dog.
Hey, we'll say the real Sherlock Holmes. HVAC Jay said he'll be an apple fritter.
Of course he would.
Hey, you know where we had the HVAC and we had the apple fritters? I had one again because my guy Jason brought it back to me. Damn, those were good. I don't know if you guys had one.
Oh, I eat
Those
them
were
all the time.
amazing.
Yep. If you can't tell.
How's that weight loss going? Well, I'll talk about that later.
If you're ever in the Waterdown area, Adam, you got to hit up Copper Kettle Cafe. So their apple fritters are going to slice the apples right then and there, batter them, fry them in front of you, and sugarcoat them. They
PS
come
said
out
that he'll
warm and hot right there.
Do they? PS said he'll be a cake, just so you guys know. A piece of cake is what he wants to be.
He is a piece of cake.
Adam, you got any questions for him, or should I go on?
Keep going.
Oh, sweet. It was just the fruit question.
If animals could talk, which one would be the rudest and why?
Raccoon. Trash pandas.
Makes sense. I mean, if you guys want to answer it as well, if you're on the stream, let us know. We'll put your answers up. Next question I got for you: what color would a zebra be if it could change its stripes?
DeWalt. Black and yellow. Black and yellow.
Yeah.
I would have said black and gold.
Sorry, it's the impetus zebra.
Hot dog or cheeseburger?
Cheeseburger.
You don't like a glizzy, dude? I'm a glizzy king.
I don't know, like trash panda meat going down your throat? Sure, you do you.
Glizzies.
He likes the extra big ones from 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
If you could eat one color of food for the rest of your life, what color would that be?
Red.
Red meat. I know you.
Okay. Pet dinosaur or pet dragon?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You wanted a fast answer.
If you could, I like this one. If you could be a superhero with a useless power, what would it be?
Adam Gordon.
Oh, wow.
I'm kidding. I love you, Adam.
I didn't even hear the question. I'm not going to lie.
I said, if you could be a superhero with a useless power, what would it be?
Plunging toilets is a useless power. I know.
He said it, not me.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Got nothing but love for you, brother.
I know you do.
Give him some final ones, Adam.
Sorry, PS said Adam knows what the best foods are shaped like. Bananas, popsicles, hot dogs. Dogs or cats?
Dog.
There you go. There's my question.
All right, I got one last one. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Let's go with 100 duck-sized horses.
Okay, I got one more.
So long as it's not a flying cobra chicken that we're going up against as well.
Okay, I got one more. Would you rather paper cut the web on your tongue or kick a wall with a nail underneath your toe?
Oh.
Paper cut under the web under your tongue or kick a nail under your toe.
That's a cringy ass question.
That is. Like, you sick, twisted. See why he needs therapy sessions from me, guys?
Dude, serious though, think about it.
I'm gonna kick the nail.
Kick the nail?
I'd take the nail. I'd take the nail any day.
No, I'd paper cut. No way. Ooh.
Dude, that's fucked up.
That is messed up. Well, that explains the whole glizzy thing.
Get more of those questions next time.
Wallowing his tongue.
I'll get some sick and twisted questions for next time, for sure.
Well, that ends my questions for the day.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, we're definitely good. Thank you so much, Matt. If you guys don't know, again, we're gonna say he is the HVAC doctor, _HVAC_doctor. If you want to find him, you can find him on Instagram. What else?
Find me on Instagram, Facebook. My Instagram is feeding the Facebook account. You can find me on LinkedIn under my full name, Matthew Waxer. And for very periodic things, kind of my neglected child of social media, I am also on TikTok under the HVAC Doctor as well. But the easiest way to find me is going to be on Instagram. And Adam, Terrence, thank you for having me on before Adam says something twisted here. What do we got, brother?
I like your TikTok dances. I'm not gonna lie.
I know that those are only for your private room, though.
I know you only send them to me. I never get it. I understand.
Thank you once again. That is season 2, episode 2 of Strictly Talking Shit. Next time we are gonna come back with another special guest. We're actually looking for him. We're just finding the right time, but could be Jeff
Dems,
right?
Jeff Dems,
or could
Mr.
be
Strut King,
Stone, or could be I don't know, but somebody cool, just like Matt Waxer.
The Ben.
I don't know about cool, but I try to be.
You got a PhD. You got a PhD. You're cool as fuck.
Just means it's piled higher and deeper, brother.
Yeah. Thank you once again, Matt. We'll see you soon.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you, everybody.